John Bradley's a journalist and author. He's written the books Inside Egypt, The Land of the Pharaohs, On the Brink of the Revolution. It was banned as it predicted the Egyptian revolution. Mr. Bradley joins us now live from London. In predicting the revolution, did you imagine that it would be as it is 12 months on?
Unfortunately, yes, certainly with the triumph of Islamism, because the liberal elite that instigated this revolution actually have no constitution to speak of in Egypt itself. And in fact, we're talking about the Egyptian revolution, but we need a reality check. There was a revolutionary uprising, but there was no revolution as such because there was a military coup. And the military sacrificed Mubarak, consolidated its own power, and the vacuum left by the collapse of the NDP, Mubarak's party, was filled by the Islamists. And remember, at the beginning, the Islamists came out against the revolution. And in recent elections, we've seen that the main party set up by the Tahrir revolutionaries only managed to get about 2% of the vote. And so that's the sad reality.
What about this one, John? If the military hadn't sided with the protesters, effectively kicking Mubarak out, then they would have either had to sit back and watch the protesters lose their battle, or they would have had to intervene on the side of Mubarak. They had very little choice at that time but to do what they did.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The military has been ruling since 1952. They've been ruling but not governing. And unfortunately, if the military hadn't stepped in, there would have been absolute chaos. And so that's why now, despite the very vocal and sometimes violent protests in Cairo and elsewhere against military rule, they have overwhelming support among the Egyptian population, because the Egyptian military is very popular, and people in Egypt, like people everywhere, value stability. And without the continued influence of the Egyptian military, there would be chaos. But just because it's inevitable doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good thing.
And will the military agree to do what it said it will do, which is step aside come July when there's a new president, or will it remain trying very much to exert influence over what is most likely going to be an Islamist government?
It will hand over power, technically, but the question is, will it give up its own power in the process? And I don't think that's going to happen at all. Some estimates suggest that the military controls about 30% of the entire Egyptian economy. And of course, they live in a parallel world of their officers' clubs and gated compounds. And they've enjoyed these privileges for half a century. Now, it seems that the Islamists recognize this, and the Islamists anyway don't want real control, real power, because with power and control comes responsibility, and they don't really have any idea how to run an economy, for example, and they don't want to take the blame when in 4 or 5 years and the second round of elections come, things are still as bad as they are now, if not worse. And so this pact between the Islamists and the military, whatever they say in public, will continue in private, and the military under no circumstances is going to give up its privileged position.
Appreciate your thoughts, John Bradley. Thank you very much.